Okay, today our topic about price elasticity of demand. Okay, we will study in detail what is meant by price elasticity of demand and how is it used in the business decision making. Mainly this is the thing. Elasticity means what? Do you have any idea or concept about the meaning of the elasticity? Elasticity means responsiveness or stretchability. When we stretch a product, some products they are stretchable. So if we stretch them and if we leave the force, they will come back to their original condition. Alright? But some products they cannot be stretchable. So if we impose any type of force, they do not show us any response. For example, this board marker, can we stretch it? It is not giving us any response, even any force is exerted on it. But when we take any flexible item which is having stretchability, so if we exert a force, so they will come back to their original condition when force is uplifted. Clear? So same is the case, human behavior is also showing us responsiveness. Our human behavior is having stretchability. Being the consumer and producer, when price of the product is going to change, what happens to the response provided by both consumers and producers? So if we talk about consumer response, that is the elasticity of demand. If it is the responsiveness due to price, then we say this is price elasticity of demand. And if this is the responsiveness due to the change in the incomes of the consumers, then it is income elasticity of demand. Now consumers are showing their responsiveness due to the changes in their income levels, or sometimes they are showing us the response due to the change in the price of other commodities. Okay, for example, if price of coffee is going to increase, what happens to the demand of tea? So this is called cross responsiveness, cross elasticity of demand. So elasticities can be due to any external factor or its own price factor. If consumers are showing their responsiveness due to that changes in the external factor, then it is the elasticity of that factor. For example, if tax is imposed, how consumers are responding to the change in demand? This is the tax elasticity. Or advertising, it is an activity by the seller. By increasing advertising, how the consumers are responding to the change in demand, whether they are going to buy more of that product or they are going to buy less of that product. So any factor which is showing us the responsiveness in the demand of the product by the consumers, that is called, it is its elasticity. So right now we are going to study price elasticity of demand, how demand will be responding to the change in price of the product itself, not any other factor. Like non-price factors are not considered right now. We are taking into account only the price of the product is going to change, keeping the non-price factors constant. Now how demand will be responding due to the change in the price of the product. This is our today's topic. So elasticity means the responsiveness. What does it mean? The responsiveness. So price elasticity of demand means the degree of responsiveness of the demand due to the change in the price of the product. So price elasticity of demand means the degree of the responsiveness of demand or contingent due to the change in the price of the product. Change in the price of the product, you can say at satisfactory when other factors are kept constant. in a given time period. These are the words which can be added to any definition in economics, because we are studying the human behavior in which external factors are having their influence. So we keep them constant in order to study the true relationship between the two variables. Or we say the definition of price elasticity of demand, it is percentage change in the quantity demanded due to percentage change in the price of the product. Alright. So here I am writing the formula for the price elastic demand. Percentage, this delta sign is showing us the change. Many of the students ask what is this meaning. The triangle is called delta. Percentage change in quantity demanded due to percentage change in price of the product. Mostly the books are having this type of definition. Keep it in mind, we all know in case of demand, price and quantity demanded are inversely related with each other. When price increases, quantity demand will fall, and when price falls, quantity demand will increase. Therefore, price elasticity of demand always comes in a negative value. For example, it is 0.12 minus 0.12, which is less than 0. But we ignore this negative sign. We have to see the strength of relationship of price and quantity demanded, which is shown by this absolute value or absolute number. So when this 1.2, we will explain this number rather than the sign. Sign is only telling us this is the price elastic demand because price and quantity are inversely related with each other. Okay. So now I am going to further explain these things in a diagrammatic form. For example, the two demand curves we are going to have. This is one of the demand curve, and this is going to be another demand. Both are downward sloping, isn't it? Now, what is the difference between these two demand curves? This is a steeper one, and this is a shallow or a flatter. Clear? Now, what is happening at this price time? 50 units are demanded by the consumers in the market. So when price increases, price goes to 15, but quantity demand goes to 40. What is happening? Price is increasing by more rate as the quantity demand is responding to the change in price. If you look at the geometry of this diagram, here we find a triangle. The perpendicular of this triangle is showing us change in price, and the base of this triangle is showing us the change in quantity. So we can easily see by the geometry of this diagram that change in price is greater than the change in quantity demanded. So when price is increasing by more proportion, the demand is responding by less proportion. So it is showing us less response. The quantity demand is showing us less response due to the change in price of the product. Or you can see the rectangles as well. Before the price change, this was the rectangle 10 and this 50, 0. And after the price change, this is the after price change rectangle. So in both the cases, after the price change, now the new rectangle is having more size than the previous rectangle. So when this is the case, we say this is less responsive or inelastic demand when price is changing. So here demand is responding by less rate than the changing price. I will explain later by using this formula about these two diagrams. Now see what is happening. Here the price is 10, quantity is again 50. Here I am going to decrease the price instead of increasing. Now see, the price has gone down up to date, but quantity has increased to 80. What is happening? Again you see at the geometry, this is the triangle which is present. Now this is the change in quantity and this is change in price. Here the change in quantity is far greater than the change in price. So demand is showing more response to the change in price. Here the consumers are showing a greater response. Even price has decreased by a small proportion. So this is showing us more responsiveness. This is, we say, this is an elastic demand and this is inelastic demand. If you look at the rectangle, previously this was a rectangle. Now after the price change, the size of rectangle, now the price has gone down. So this area of rectangle is increased. This is a loss in area, this is a gain in area. So gain is greater than the loss. So here when price falls, consumers are showing more responsiveness. Now how to calculate, how to measure this responsiveness? We use this formula. We use this formula. So now first of all I am going to explain this formula. There are two versions. If you know how to use the percentages, that's easy. If some students they are unable to find the percentage values, I will explain them another formula. So this answer will remain same. Now I have written price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand is percentage change in quantity due to percentage change in price. How to find percentage? Percentage change in quantity, this can be found change in quantity over original quantity into 100. This change in quantity is what? Q2 minus Q1 over Q1 into 100. When you find these values, you can put them into this formula and you will be able to get the answer. Now how to find percentage change in price? This is change in price over original price into 100. Or you can write P2 minus P1 over P1 into 100. Clear? Another way to find the formula, that is, I wrote percentage change in quantity due to percentage change in price. So I wrote this thing, change in quantity over original quantity into 100 divided by change in price over original price into 100. So these hundreds are cancelled. So this is a double division. Change in quantity over Q1 divided by change in price over P1. How to solve it? Change in quantity over Q1 multiplied by P1 over. Clear? Now I am writing this value over here. Change in quantity over change in price into P1 over Q1. The same answer will come to you by using the same formula. Now I am going to calculate the price elasticity demand of the two curves which I mentioned earlier. Okay? Now I am raising this side. This is the demand curve, which is an elastic one. I said 8, this is price P2, this is 80, this is Q2. Clear? Now find the percentage change in quantity if you are able. This is change in quantity over original quantity 200.
60%.
Okay. This is what? Q2 minus Q1 over Q1 into 100. So Q2 is what? 80 minus 50 over 50 into 100. So this is 30 over 50 into 100. So this is now 60% is the change in quantity. Okay? Now what is the percentage change in price?
20%.
Change in price over original price into 100. P2 minus P1 over P1 into 100. So how much? What is the P2? 8 minus 10 over 10 into 100. This is minus 2 over 10 into 100. So this is minus 20%. So price is falling, so its change is in negative sign. Put these values. Percentage change in quantity is 60% and 20%. 60% divided by minus 20%. What is the answer now? Minus 3. Ignore this negative sign and look at this number. 3. So this 3 is greater than 1. So we say this is elastic demand. What it is? What this number 3 is showing us? When price changes by 1%, demand will increase by 3%. The change in quantity demand is greater than the change in price in percentage. So proportionately, demand is responding more than. So this is elastic demand. Clear? If you put the values, what is the change in quantity? I am using this formula. Listen please. Please be attentive. What is the change in quantity? That is 30. Change in price is minus 2. Original price was 10. Original quantity was 50. So 0 is cancelled with this one. 5, 6 are 3. And 6 by 2 क्या? Minus 3 again. The same answer we are getting. Either we use this method or we use this changes method. The answer will remain same. Any question? So we find this thing. Here demand is elastic. Elastic demand is also having another application. What is that? Do you know what is meant by revenue? Revenue. Price multiplied by quantity. I am raising this thing. This is an elastic demand. Okay. Look here. Price and quantity and total revenue. Total revenue means what? When we multiply price with quantity, it is the total sales revenue of the seller. When price is 10, how much is the quantity demanded? 50. Total revenue of the seller is 500. When price goes to 8, quantity demand is 80. How much is total revenue? 640. So when price decreases and total revenue increases, or price increases and total revenue decreases, we say this is an elastic demand. Look here on the diagram. This is the before the price change revenue, 10 into 50. This is point A. You can say P1 A, Q1 and 0. This is the first rectangle before the price change. Now after the price change, now this is the rectangle P2, B, Q2 and 0. This is the loss in revenue, this rectangle. elastic product, he decreases the price, his total sales revenue will increase. What type of product these are? They are the luxuries like cell phones, televisions. When they decrease price, consumers will buy more. Or you can see many of the luxury clothing, Gul Ahmad ideas, if they are having a sales in their venue, what happens? More people will rush towards that store where sales are present. So when they decrease price, their total sales revenue will increase. If this is the case, without looking at the calculations of the elasticity, every seller knows by decreasing price his revenue is increasing. So his demand is elastic one. Follow my point? Now come towards the other demand curve which was inelastic. Another demand curve that is having a steeper shape. This is the demand curve. This is P1, this is Q1, price is 10, quantity is 50. And now price goes to 15. This is P2. Quantity is 40. Q1 and Q2. Now find the percentage change in quantity, that is Q2 minus Q1 over Q1 into 100. What is Q2 now? 40 minus 50 over 50 into 100. So minus 10 over 50 into 100. That is what it is? Minus 20%. Now quantity is falling. In our previous case, price was having the negative value because price was falling. Here quantity is falling, so we are having negative sign with the quantity. Now what is the percentage change in price? That is P2 minus P1 over P1 into 100. What is P2? 15 minus 10 over 10 into 100. So 5 over 10 into 100. So here we find 50% increase in price. Put these values minus 20% divided by 50%. What is the answer now? Minus 2 by 5, which is minus 0.4. So now ignore this sign. And 0.4 is less than 1. 0.4 is less than 1. So when 0.4 is less than 1, its value is compared with 1. Price elasticity demand is compared with 1. So when it is less than 1, it is inelastic demand. What it is? Inelastic demand. What does it mean by inelastic demand? Its value is less than 1. It means the proportionate increase in price is more than the decrease in the quantity demand. Consumers are showing less responsiveness due to the change in price. So usually these goods are the necessities. Even their prices are increasing, consumers are not decreasing quantity demand by more proportion. Okay? Now if you look at the revenue side, if you look at the revenue side of this demand curve, what is happening now? Price, quantity and total revenue. At price 10, 50 units were demanded, revenue was 500. Now price is 15 and this is now 40. This is 600. You see, when price increases and total revenue also increases. Clear? This is what the loss in revenue and this is gain in revenue, this area. So gain in revenue when price increases in case of inelastic demand, gain in revenue is more than the loss in revenue. So here price and revenue, they are moving in same direction, and when price decreases, total revenue will also decrease. So if this is the case, we say demand is inelastic. So usually these goods are the necessities or addictions of the consumers or habit forming. The cell phones nowadays, we are having the habit of keeping expensive cell phone with us. So even their prices are increasing, still people are buying them, especially the branded one. So what happens? Consumers are brand loyals. They are having the habit of keeping an expensive phone with them. So by increasing the price of that phone, still they are able to have increase in revenue. But keep it in mind, overall its demand is elastic. If they decrease price, definitely they will get more customers. Clear? Sufficient today or should I go ahead?